ultimate measure of a man is where he stands in times of challenge and controversy. So it's not when you're comfortable, it's not when it's convenient for you. But the real tests that we go through in life, the real tests, they come when you getting challenged, when that controversy hit. But as I was saying, man, it sounds like everything was cool, everything good, bro. Everything in your life been going good. But like I said, man, the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands in times of challenge and controversy. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man, we talk about challenges and controversy, I ain't do the best. Because when it hit me, I was ready to go back home. What I mean, when I graduated college and I did get the opportunity to get that job at that technology company, Oracle, when I did move to Austin, Texas, that's where I'm at right now. When I did move to Texas, that was the hardest transition ever to me. Because all my life, all I knew was Georgia. Like, I'm from Georgia. I went to college in Georgia, my family in Georgia. I got on my first plane back in 2018. I got on my first flight in 2018. I had to be 21 years old. I had never traveled. Like, I'm not a traveling person. So I'm seeing all of this and I'm growing. And when I got to Austin, Texas, the hardest transition ever for me because, all I knew was new city, new. Like, I'm gonna go in and be a brand new person. My name ain't even Jalan no more. Call me Tariq. You know what I'm saying? That's my middle name. I was like, I'm Tariq now. So I had it all made up. Like, I'm brand new. And I kid you not, man, I got there. And I remember the morning my parents left, man. It was like 5 a.m. I walk them outside. I'm looking out the window. They drive off. I'm sad. Like, I'm looking out the window like, dang, man, it's real now. Like, it's on me. Like, I have to figure out a way to navigate this new transition. I got to figure out a way to navigate being in this new city, this new state. And I ain't never did this before. So, hey, man, like, what do most of us do? What do most of us do when, challenges and controversy comes our way? And it's like, I don't know how to do it. So guess what? I'm going to just freestyle it. And freestyling for me was, I wanted to be out every weekend. Like, even during the week, I had work Monday through Friday, but you can catch me on Thursday. I'm outside. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to be outside with people. So I was doing anything and everything just to be around people. Because guess what, man? I was depressed. Like, I was sad at the crib. Because again, I didn't know how to transition, challenge and controversy. Nipsey says it all the time, man. What you gonna do? You gonna stand 10 toes down or you gonna fold? And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man, I was folding. But I'll never forget the night where I was out. I even started drinking and I don't even drink. Like, in college, I didn't even drink. But I'll never forget the night, we was outside at this spot, coming back home. It had to be like 3 a.m. I get back in the house. I remind you, man, I just got out of college, man. I'm fresh out of college. My check went up, the salary done went up. I'm 20, at that point, I'm 21, 22 years old. Like, I'm young. And y'all don't know it, but man, I love shoes. So I always say, like, virtually, man, I wish I could like be in my closet. Wish I had this nice closet to show everybody my shoes, but I love shoes. So just, I was spending the money that I was spending. I was buying shoes, 4 pair of shoes a month, buying clothes, buying everything. And I'll never forget that night, man. I walked back into my apartment. Had to be 3 a.m. I'm walking around like, man, you doing it, right? Like, you got all the furniture. You got this big TV. You go in your closet, man, you got all these shoes. Like, you got all these clothes. Like, you got everything that anybody your age would want. Like, you got it made. And I'll never forget how I felt. Because I just walked around the whole apartment in silence and I just said to myself, man, it looks like I got everything. But inside, I still feel like I have nothing though. Because like I said, man, one thing about life is not about what you can get out of it, but it's about what you're giving. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all about what you're giving. And at that point, I was just taking. And that night for me really changed my mindset because it was that night that I decided, I gotta really figure this thing out because I can't keep doing this. Like, I can't keep walking around partying every weekend. Like, I can't, you don't even drink. You can't keep doing that. That's not even you. You became this person that you don't even know. And that ain't never been cool. So for me, like that night, man, that night sticks with me so much because that was the night that changed my life. It changed my perspective. It changed, the way that I think. It changed the way that I want to move. It really made me think about the legacy that I would want to leave. And I was talking to a mentor and he shared with me, yo, like, I know the transition is tough and I know adjusting, like I know it's hard. And I want to share this with you all because but one thing he shared with me, man, get a journal, take each page and write out every location that you've been to in your journal. And what I mean by that is I'm from Thomaston, so the first page says Thomaston, Georgia. I went to college in Atlanta, so the next page says Atlanta, Georgia. Then I moved to Austin, Texas, so the next page says Austin, Texas. On each page, yo, write out what you did for those places. When you talk about home, write what you got out of being at home, but also write what you did for your hometown. And it ain't got to be major. It could be the smallest things, but it's all about giving, right? Like we got to remember to give. You went to college in Atlanta. Yo, what you do for them 4 years? Like, yo, what did you learn? Tell me about the experiences. Tell me about the lessons and the blessings that came from those, those 4 years. But also let me know what you gave to Atlanta while you was there. What did you give to Clark Atlanta University while you was there for 4 years? And then we get to Austin, Texas. Like I said, man, I ain't even know myself when I got out here. And I was so sad, so depressed, and just so ready to like I was ready to go home. I talked to my mom and my dad, and I was like, yo, this ain't for me. But all it was the fact that, yo, I came from a small town, so I just wasn't used to this. But as I just said, man, isolation leads to elevation. So you got to remember that. So when we talk about this chapter, Austin, Texas, on this page, what you gonna write about Austin, Texas if you already trying to leave? Like, what did you do for this? What you do for them if you're already trying to go? And that was the question. When my mentor asked me that question, yo, when we talk about Austin, Texas, what would we say that you left? What did you do? What did you give? What lessons have you learned? What experiences have you been blessed with? Right now, nothing, because you're so ready to go back home. And it was that conversation that changed my perspective. That's what changed my ideas. That's what made me think differently about everything. And it was from that moment, like I said, man, there's two types of people in the world. You got those that the world will change. And as y'all can see, man, the world was changing me. But it was at night that I finally figured out, yo, you got to figure out in which ways are you going to change the world? And that's why I brought that up in the very beginning. And like, I wanted to show the video, but we couldn't get it, and it's cool. But like I said, Nipsey, I'm a big fan of Nipsey. And one thing that he talks about is, they asked him like, yo, you ever had a moment where you just wanted to quit? Like you just wanted to give up, you didn't believe in it. And Nipsey said, yo, I had that thought all the time. Like, yo, the only thing that's different from me and anybody else is that I ain't quit. Like I'm not I ain't smarter than nobody. I'm not just out here, I'm not better than nobody. Yo, I'm just like any other person out here. The only thing that's different about me is that I ain't quit. And when I heard him say that, that made me think about when I got out here to Austin, man. I'm not better than nobody from my hometown. I'm not more special than nobody from my hometown. I'm not smarter. Yo, I'm not the smartest out here from my hometown. So when I talk about all the things that I've been blessed with, the job, the house, being able to pay off certain bills fast, all that good stuff, when I'm able to talk about that, the only how I got to this point is that I ain't quit. So I think that's the first thing that I want to share with you all, man. If we're talking about lessons to take from this, that's the first thing that I want you all to know. I don't care where you come from. I don't care what, we've all been through a lot of things. But the one thing that I would ask is, man, please don't quit. Because if you quit, you not only affect you, but you affect your friends, you affect your family. You know what I'm saying? We all got goals and we all got dreams. But yo, how you gonna get to it if you quit? So yo, I think life is never about you, but it's always about, what you're doing for other people. And I don't know my time, but if I could just share one more story, one more moment, to where I really learned that lesson to where it's never about you. That was a moment that I had with this lady from my church. 10 more minutes,
brother. You got 10
okay, bet.
Yeah, you good, bro.
So this lady from my church, I was asked in college, my sophomore year, I had a professor, he asked me, yo, what's your passion? I say sneakers, right? He said, okay, how you take your passion and giving it back to the world? I said, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't thought about that, man. I'm this age, I ain't thinking about that. He said, I bet, I want you to think about it. I go home and I think about it. I'm like, yo, I want to do a shoe drive for my community. That's what I want to do for my hometown. Get the shoe drive. It was great. You know what I'm saying? It was great. And this lady from my church, she would always remember it. Whenever she saw me, whenever she saw my parents, she would always ask, where's Jalan? I want to see him. Like, I ain't seen him. But I love that shoe drive that he did. And I never understood why this lady loved me so much. Like, we ain't even talk like that. I never got it. But I'll never forget when I went back home, one Christmas break, it had to be 2019. She asked my parents, would I be coming home? And if I was, yo, can I come see her real quick? So I went home, I went to go see her, go up to the step, go up the steps, go to the door. She comes out, yeah, we smiling at each other because we ain't seen each other in forever. And we sit there talking, and she said it again, I love you so much. And again, I never understood why she loved me. We don't talk like that, like I barely see you. And she shared with me, when you did that shoe drive, man, I was in a very, very bad place in my life. And one thing about God is, God sends you people to get you out of them places. I was like, okay, that's dope. And she said, when I saw you doing the shoe drive, you reminded me of my son that's no longer here anymore. He passed away a few years ago. So, that love that you have for the community, that giving spirit that you had for the people, it reminded me of my son. So I'm able to get bits and pieces and see my son through you. So when I say I love you, that's why. I always share that story because I want to emphasize the point. Life is not so much about what you can get, but life is all about what you can give. And when you quit, when you go through life and you want to quit, always hold on to those people that's close to you. Because when you do great things, when you go through this life and you killing it and you chasing your dreams and your goals, you're not only making yourself feel better, but you inspiring the next person that you don't even know to wake up and you making them feel better. So if I could just say anything, man, life got a way of punching you. But I always remember, like, life is, most people don't burn out or quit because life, makes them do it. No, they don't burn out or quit because of what they do or what they're doing. Most people burn out because life makes them forget why they chose to do what they're doing. So all I would say, man, don't quit. Always have a giving spirit. And don't let life make you forget why you're doing what you said you want to do. Be committed. So I think, I don't know my time, but I do want to be good on that. We're doing Q&A real quick, or is that?
Yeah, definitely. You definitely can, the brother's opportunity to respond to some of the things that you were.
Yeah. So we could definitely do some Q&A. Any questions? Like I said, I'm 24, so I still get down in 2K, stuff. So
see some smiling faces on that 2K comment behind that camera.
I still get down, man.
Fellas, any of you kings got any questions for the gentleman about his journey? I mean, just in case y'all don't know, Oracle is one of the top companies in the world. They're always, in Forbes magazine, various places, because of what they're doing to change technology. Their hands are in a lot of different places. So if you have any questions, guys, please be sure to ask questions. Make sure that you use this time to increase your level of knowledge. This brother is taking his time to come here today and share his story. We want to make sure that you guys benefit from his presence.
I've been in and out. Mr. Andrews, did you let them know you were TRIO alumni? Many of the students on today, a large majority of them are in TRIO programs. And so if you could tell them about your TRIO journey, what it's meant for you, that'd be a great point to touch on.
I definitely wanted to mention that. One thing about TRIO, man, I learned this as at the age now, exposure is everything. And if I talked about TRIO, that's one of the things that I would always mention with them. And TRIO put us in places and spaces that a lot of us never even expected to be, never knew about, never thought about. So when we talk about TRIO, like, I ain't gonna lie, in high school, I wasn't as serious or whatever, but if I could pass down the game to you all, give it back, pay it forward, man, I would definitely tell you, take that serious and understand that as you become more exposed to everything that life has to offer, your mind open up. So we're talking about this giving spirit and all this great stuff. In order to get to that place, you got to be exposed to it first. And I think being a part of TRIO, I think that's the best first step. They care about you. they trying to put us in places and spaces that we ain't never been before. So I think you definitely got to take that serious. Because one thing about it, man, once you finish school, once you out of high school and trio over with, you're on your own. Like you got to figure it out yourself. Like I tell people, when they graduate college and they looking for a job, yeah, you got to take advantage of those people in college that's helping you. Because after you finish, you graduate and walk across that stage, yeah, you're on your own. You got to figure out your own career path. So it's like, yo, just going back to that, take it serious and like really, really utilize them and let them guide you, because I promise you, they're for you. They're trying to expose you. And overall, man, it's just a blessing to be a part of it. So
let's see what the chat's got to say here. What's the best advice from someone gave you throughout your journey? That's a great question, Mr. Roberts. Great question.
That's a great question. I think if I could add to that, man, shout out to my guy Nipsey again. And I just heard it in the last session in the video. But yo, be yourself. I work in corporate. I do work in corporate. But one thing about it, man, I've always prided myself in, being myself. And what I mean by that is, man, I ain't gonna lie. The world gonna try to make you switch up. The world gonna try to make you change up. But it's all about traveling the road less traveled. Like the road less traveled is the best road to travel. So it's not about doing what everybody else doing if that's not you. Like in my story, I was doing what everybody else was doing and it wasn't me. But when I started being myself and embracing myself and just being who I was called to be, walking in my purpose, not what somebody had for me, that was the best for me. So if I could give any advice, I think the first and the best, greatest thing that you could do, just be you, because can't nobody else do it like first. No, I appreciate that. That was a good question for sure.
Great question. Anybody can unmute and ask. How did you choose your school? What made you choose the college you went to?
Man, so my mom actually went to Clark. My mom went to Clark Atlanta University for a short period of time. But I think for me, man, I wouldn't advise it in this way, but I think I was a little fearful though. Atlanta's the first perfect place. Now I got to choose between Clark and Morehouse. And I ain't gonna lie, like my answer probably ain't the best, but for me, it was the decision of an all-male school versus a mixed school. And at that time, I was like, I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna go with the mixed school. So I was like, yeah, for me, it was all about like that really kind of finalized that decision for me. And I think I had a hard time getting to Morehouse too. So yeah, I got accepted to Clark and I was like, man, that's where I'm going. And when I look back on that, that was a good decision. So I'm appreciative. And all the schools close, so I was at Morehouse and Clark and Spelman, so it was cool.
Hey,
I have a question.
Oh, yeah,
I was
good.
gonna cut you
Go ahead, brother.
How did you pick your major?
My major. So I went into college, bro, with a music major. Man, I played saxophone. I played the alto sax and band in high school all my years. And I was good at it, right? And I seen drumline. I'm like, man, I'm about to go to college and change it up. Like, I want to be doing what they doing in the movie. And when I got to college, I started to realize that a musical, degree is cool, but I wanted to set myself up and put myself in the best position. I was like, man, if I cage myself for music, if I do that, I got to make sure I'm doing that. So for me choosing, I did business administration and I concentrated in marketing. And I was like, yo, if I do something like that, I got more options. So I think going into college, it's all about, pick that degree, still do what you want to do, but make sure you pick a degree that gives you more options though. I think the more options you have, the more choices you can make with your degree. I think that kind of set a lot of people up for success though. So I chose business to keep my options open.